Hey YouTubers, welcome to World Cinema Reviews. This is your host Frank the Vamp, and today we're gonna talk about a franchise. Yeah, I've seen videos all over the internet, analyzing the Friday the 13th uh, franchise, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Halloween franchise, and those been done. It's kind of hard to do another one of those because it's been done a lot. And I don't want to be repetitive, because pretty much all's been said about that. But I really want to talk about a franchise who I don't see a lot of analysis from. So I want to talk about the From Dusk Till Dawn franchise. And basically, it interests me because I think that the first film is incredible. The other two films are incredibly underrated. So we're going to talk about the trilogy. We're not going to talk about the television series because I haven't seen it. But we're definitely going to talk about the first three films, and today we're going to talk about the first film. And I hope you join me for a deep analysis of why it is that I think that From Dusk Till Dawn is a fantastic movie. It's a great vampire movie, and which has a lot of elements that has not been, some that have been included from vampire films and some that haven't, and we're gonna dwell into it and see what's going on with From Dusk Till Dawn Part One. So brilliantly directed by Robert Rodriguez, which, as you guys have known, he's the dude that blows stuff up. Man, he's so action packed, but he combined himself because this movie, the screenplay is written by none other than Quentin Tarantino. So we have a guy who's like dialogue heavy, very stylish, with an action guy, and we combine them both, and guess what we get? A freaking fantastic movie. I want to talk about all the aspects of it, but let's just fill you in. There will be some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the movie, I really recommend that you watch it. But we'll try not to spoil too much. But yeah, there'll be some spoiling, so you have been warned. So the plot, basically, we got these two brothers, the Gecko brothers, who just robbed the bank. They're escaping from the police. They want to get out of Texas and get into Mexico, so that they can, achieve freedom, be able to go to, to a forsaken place, in the other side of the border where only bandits live, and where they can just easily, exchange the loot and live happy for the rest of their lives, or whatever their goals are. However, getting into Mexico is going to prove to be hard because everybody's looking for them. So they actually kidnap a family in a motorhome so they can get them across the border. And basically, once they get across the border, that's where we're gonna talk about that twist. So let me tell you a couple of things about that twist. Okay. Well, we all know. You guys have seen it. They go into this bar called the Titty Twister. Real wild, rowdy joint with a bunch of bikers and truck drivers are going in it. They have strippers, they have bar fights, they have a lot of wild shit, really. So, but the biggest one that they have, the biggest thing that they have in there is vampires. The twist being that the bar is just a front from vampires to feed on, pretty much desperados, bandits, uh, wild guys, and truck drivers and bikers, right? So that they can easily steal their loot, easily cover it up. People who the police won't miss, and so the twist. Let me tell a couple of stories about the twist, which are really, really funny from my own personal life. First comes from my former girlfriend of years ago. You know, I seen the movie before, and I rented the movie back when they still had rental. places, right? And then we sat together and we watched it, and she thought she was watching a movie about bank robbers. She swore that that was it because in the first half of the movie, all you get is, it's pretty similar plot about, you know, murdering bank robbers who want to get across to Mexico, kidnapping and stuff. And that was actually a pretty interesting movie. If that's the route they would have gone, I would have liked the movie anyways. It's pretty interesting. But the twist, oh my god, the twist is unbelievable. What happens? What happened is that my girlfriend, her at the time, hated me for it. 'Cause she wasn't ready. She freaked out when she saw the vampire. She was like, "What the f?" WTF moment all the way, guys, all the way. I mean, she was freaked out for weeks. I think she couldn't stop talking about it, and she almost wanted to hit me. It was wow. Well, maybe I exaggerated a little bit. She wasn't that freaked out, but she definitely, that was blew her mind away. It was like really really unbelievable. So the second story is as my friend from many many years ago. One of my friends, he thought the same thing. He was like, hey, this movie is just a bank robber movie. If you see the cover of the DVD, which I don't have with me right now, but he's like, oh yeah, yeah, it looks like a bank robber movie. He rented it as well, popped it in, and then he realized that, man, this movie is a vampire movie. It's a vampire film. I think it was brilliant. The fact that it's kind of a bait and switch, but a bait and switch on the positive. I mean, it plays with your mind. The film takes a complete different turn, but still retains its original purpose, which is, can the family survive the night? And it's just fantastic. The movie, as all Tarantino movies, um, have great characters, and he wrote those characters, guys. He wrote them in excellently, and Rodriguez directed them brilliantly. So let's talk about, you know, let's talk about the big two and why they made this film so great and why they turned it into a franchise. First of all, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino, by the way, it's an underrated actor. I don't think he's great, but he's pretty good if he finds the right role for himself in his movies. And this was just the right role. He plays a sick, sexually deviant, immoral, murdering mind dude. One of the Gecko brothers. And George Clooney is like the cool, collected. He's just a thief. He's not really a murderer, but he will kill if it's necessary to protect his freedom. But Tarantino is just batshit crazy. He's just crazy. He'll kill you for just looking wrong at him. In fact, even if he thinks you said something wrong about it, even if you actually didn't say it, but he just felt that you said something, you're dead. Yeah, he means business, man, and it's really crazy. They two play their parts perfectly. I really love it. Clooney, excellent, excellent. One of my favorite roles he's ever done. He's so cool, collected, kick ass. And this was 1996. Remember, so it wasn't, George Clooney still wasn't a household name, really, unless his TV show, right? Was was the big thing. Now Tarantino, knocks it out of the park. My favorite is when, the part where he thinks Juliette Lewis is telling him to give her head, and she's not saying anything. He's just being a paranoid psychotic. Just so freaking funny, man. Um, I love Harvey Keitel here as the priest Jacob, the priest who lost his faith, and he does. I mean, Harvey Keitel. I mean, ever since I saw him as a pimp on Taxi Driver. I said, man, this guy is the best. Awesome. In many of Tarantino's movies. You know, including us. One of my favorite characters is the wolf, the guy who cleans up after murderers. And that's a fantastic job in Pulp Fiction, but in here, just knocks it out of the park. He's a guy who, because his wife died, kind of lost his faith on God, and he needs to regain it so that he can once again be a man of God and be able to bless the whole water so they can attack the vampire. I think that both of the kids are great. Ernest Liu as Scott, is just kind of like very, very nice kid growing up, being adopted and all, and still curious about the strippers and stuff. A typical teenager. Now Juliette Lewis is brilliant as Kate Fuller. I love everything Juliette Lewis does, and whenever she's in a movie, I want to watch it. And she's just this forbidden fruit there, that the Quentin Tarantino character Richie Gecko wants to completely rape the shit out of it, basically. Um, Danny Trejo, who can forget Machete, he plays Razor Charlie here, and really cool. Small role, but it was so impactful that it opened him up to be open to bigger media roles. Tom Savini, man, what the hell, man? Sex Machine. How, if you're gonna have Tom Savini in your film, I mean, freaking Night of the Living Dead, Tom Savini, freaking zombie movie, Tom Savini. If you're gonna cameo him because he's awesome, you might as well cameo him as Sex Machine. Why is he named Sex Machine? Well, he's got a gun on his dick, pretty much. But maybe he has other things that we didn't see on the film. But I don't want to find out. Maybe you ladies want to. Anyhow, Fred Williamson, man, the Hammer as Frost. Basically, Quentin has been a big blaxploitation fan, and he does it. He does a lot in in the movie Jackie Brown. He shows up a lot of that with Pam Grier, the beautiful, gorgeous Pam Grier. I love blaxploitation films too. I'll put in the description if you guys want to check out my review of Blackula, because I want to defend it actually as a good film. But I'm getting off the subject. But Fred Williamson, man, the Hammer, kick-ass story he's got written by Tarantino about how he killed an entire platoon in Vietnam or something like that. Kick-ass, man. There's so many other great characters, but I want to touch into one more. A couple more. Let's do Cheech Marin, man. Cheech Marin. He plays three roles. Cheech Marin is so Cheech and Chong, man. He's so awesome. He cannot be confined to one role. He needs to play three, okay? Because that's in his contract, man. I hope they paid him triple. He plays the border guard, the kind of kinky, sick border guard. He, of course, plays Chet Pussy. Yeah. I'm not gonna repeat his rank because I can't do it that good, but when he's promoting the titty twister outside, saying he's got pussy for sale, you better believe it. And he plays Carlos the Bandit at the end. Brilliant. Cheech Marin, man. Unbelievable. Last character I want to talk about is Salma Hayek. She's Santanico Pandemonium. She was starting her career back then, but she stops the show, man. Like when I saw her dance, I thought I was watching one of the most beautiful girls in the world. Like That was boner city, man. Every man in that. If you deny it, you didn't get a boner. You're BSing me, man. Everybody got a boner. She just did that fantastic, sexy dance with that dark, macabre thing around it. Who doesn't love that? I mean, it's so iconic, man. And the song. Let's talk about the music. That's the last thing I want to talk about this movie. It's so freaking awesome. Some Tex-Mex music, some Texas jazz. But the one I really like, the band, is Tito Tarantula with the song After Dark. That's the song she swings to. It's so, if it's go listen to it at home if you have the, or when you're watching just that scene. It's so freaking sexy. So it goes perfectly with her dancing. And but another song that I really love is Cucarachas Enojadas, which are angry cockroaches. Cucarachas enojadas, buscando una fiesta. And then it goes to bam, it goes to this hard rock, like Chicano rock type of thing, which is basically hard rock combined with barrio music. And it's unbelievably fluid, kicks ass. This movie kicks ass everywhere. I mean, as far as a cool film, as a horror, as a heist film, it's awesome. If you look at it as a vampire film, it kicks ass, man. There's so, the vampire fighting, the impaling, so iconic. Freaking reminds me of so many classic movies in the 80s, like Vamp and Near Dark. It's just times 20, man. Like this guy's just over the top, you know. Then have to destroy your own father, after and after he attacks your brother, and have to kill your own brother too, so he doesn't turn into a vampire. Unbelievable. It's just, and the ending is very satisfying, and it sets up the sequel, which we're gonna talk about next time. So, what grade does From Dusk Till Dawn get? This is an A movie, maybe an A plus to me. If you love vampire movies, this is one for you. If you like heist movies, this is one for you. If you love Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, why haven't you watched this movie yet? You know. So stay tuned for next time. We're totally gonna talk about the sequel, and the two sequels, one at a time, and why why they're so underrated, which I think it's kind of a crime. But next time, stay tuned from Dust Till Dawn to Texas Blood Money. So you guys, if you like my video, tell me about it. If you didn't like it, if you hate me, tell me why you hate me, because I love you. And I'm like that. I'm such a lovable guy, just a lovable horror guy, just your typical Frank DeVan. So if you like the video, please subscribe. Even if you didn't like it, tell me why you didn't like it. Anyway, stay tuned for more videos from Frank DeVan. Take care. And cucarachas enojadas, brother. Angry cockroaches. Live on. Rule.